Welcome. You're watching Rugby with Rifle, a podcast about all things rugby and life, with your host, Danny Pabone and Rifle Scudder.
Giuliani's tackle. Great ball handling and retention by Scotland. Williamson, can they hold him off the ground? Can they hold him off the ground? Yes, they can! The Azzurri have won. The Italians have beaten Scotland.
Welcome to Rugby with Rifle, a podcast about all things and life. As always, I'm joined here with my friend Rifle. Rifle, how are you doing, sir?
Doing well, thanks, Danny. Very exciting first week of the Six Nations. It kicked off with a bang, and I
Yes.
think it's going to get even better, some of the games that are coming up. So very excited for it. So doing well, thank you.
Yes, it's gonna be. I feel it already. It's gonna be a great Six Nations. Pretty much the first and third game, no surprises there. Second game, very interesting second game. Well, I should say that first game, France and Ireland, we're going to get into, I thought would be a little bit more competitive, but turns out it wasn't so competitive after all. And then, as we've spoken about England-Wales game, England pretty much did what everybody thought they would do. So yeah, so let's get right to it without any further delays. So round one, Rifle, is in the books for the Six Nations. We see the three scores for the three matches here. Let's start off with that France-Ireland game. As everybody can see here, at halftime, it was 22-0. So that French team was, without saying the obvious, dominated the first half, and wow, that French team really came out shooting with on all cylinders in this game.
They sure did, yeah. I mean, we know what the French can do. We know they're a brilliant team, and they didn't disappoint. Maybe in the second half, which sometimes happens. I mean, if I remember correctly, the game the Springboks played against Australia last year during the summer series in Johannesburg, actually. So, what we say at high altitude, very difficult game for Australia. Never beaten the Springboks at Ellis Park. Very difficult place to play. Crowd very hostile to other nations coming there. And after 17 minutes, we were also 17-0 up, and we thought, oh my goodness, this could be a 50, and we lost. So France obviously going into halftime 22-0, and they were looking good, man. Oh my goodness. Belberrier, just, wow, what a player. Just the speed on that guy, he's phenomenal. And the way that they can run, and, we talk about the flair of the French, especially if they get ball in broken play. I mean, they can do a lot of damage, which they were doing. But their forwards dominating that new lock of theirs, absolutely man of the match as well, just well deserved. They were good. So I do not think that any of the other teams will be able to catch them, depending on definitely the last game. I believe it is England-France.
Mm-hmm.
But France look, like they were in a league of their own. It was very difficult to judge England because they played Wales. So when a good team like England, and I think that this is their 11th win on the trot. So, I mean, they definitely up and coming. But when you're doing that well, and, you're elevating your game all the time, and unfortunately you play against a diminished side like Wales, it's difficult to judge how good you really were. On the day they thumped them, but will they be the same when they face, France or Ireland or some of the other teams? So we'll have to wait and see. But definitely, my goodness, France looking good. Like the rugby they play, running good, they're hard. Those forwards of theirs dominate. So a very good French team indeed. And I think Springboks have to play them this year. And the other thing, playing France in France, my goodness, you don't want to play there. It's a terrible stadium for the opponent. For the French, it's absolutely, you want to play there. They sing and they scream and they shout and they get behind their team, and the atmosphere is wonderful. But for teams that go there to play, it normally doesn't work out well for them. That's all I can say. So hats off to the French. They did so well. And on the flip side of the coin, Ireland just didn't live up to the hype. You know, last year in the series at the end of the year, the autumn series, we were saying France, they would be one of the teams that were actually, at the end of the year, they would look back and not be happy with their achievements and what they've accomplished. And I think they've started this Six Nations in this year in the same manner. And some of their players were not there. Granted, maybe 4 or 5 of their starting 15 not there, but just they've got a huge problem, I think, at fly half. Prendergast, young up and coming player, but very inexperienced. You can see it in some of the decisions that he made. So they've got to definitely fix that. But we've spoken about it before. The pool that they have to bring in the players, is shrinking a little bit. And the age of the players is, climbing and climbing every year. So Ireland in a little bit of a difficult place right now. But it was a great way to start the Six Nations for this year. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yes, yes, it was, and just to touch upon a point that we've made often on this podcast is that when your team is hot, you got to be okay. You got to enjoy it because in a matter of a year or two, things can flip and change and everything. And I say that because last year, coming into the Six Nations series, Ireland was on a hot streak, and everybody, not everybody, but many were favoring Ireland to win the Six Nations because they had such a good run in the Autumn Nations and they had a great 2024. So, it's like in sports, you could be hot one year and the next year you could just France wondering what in the world happened this year. So yeah, it again, I'm a novice to this sport, and if you're new to the podcast, I've been following rugby for the past couple of years now due to Rifle. Rifle has been a lifelong fan, and me being a follower of American football for the past 3 decades, I've seen it all the time, many times where you have a team be good for a couple of years and then for whatever reason they just go the opposite direction. But nothing to take away from France. France is just a tough team to play against, and like you say, especially at home, where they have the fans behind them yelling and cheer them on. So yeah, a great win for France. The majority of people that follow rugby have France winning the series, and really, like you said, the only team that may pose a threat to France in this series is England, and they're going to be playing them on the final game literally the final game of the series. So yeah, we shall see that game. I think that game is gonna, like we've mentioned before, is gonna determine the winner of this series. So yeah, looking forward to that game.
Yeah, going to be good. To Ireland's, defense, if I can put it that way, after the 23 World Cup, because that year that I believe they won the Grand Slam in the Six Nations. They were good, and everyone was saying, they could win the World Cup. I mean, they were that good. And then you got Johnny Sexton that retires. You got Peter Mahody, he's gone. So 2 of their players that have played for years, and 2 of the leaders, literally captain and just the stalwarts of Irish rugby, gone. It's very difficult to replace stars like
Yeah,
that, and they've lost stars indeed. And that really, 1 or 2 players can make such a difference, especially if you don't have youngsters to take over. So, for example, you have now lost the best fly half, arguably that played for them, and is replaced with a well, they're two guys, that are vying for that position, but both of them, inexperienced and young. So it's going to take some years for them to get to the position experience-wise, just to be where Sextet was. So, to Ireland's defense, that also hampered them a lot, unfortunately for them.
Yes. And you're referring to again, remind me, his Johnny Sexton, correct?
Correct, yes, yeah.
Which is
He's coaching now,
considered,
he's helping with the coaching, yes.
he's considered, for all you who don't follow rugby, which you should, because I've become a huge fan. He's considered one of the best fly halves to ever play the game. So yeah, it's a big loss for the Ireland there. So yeah, so the second game, Italy, Scotland. Wow, what a game this was. Huge win for Italy in a game that was played in torrential rain. I mean, I was messaging you, Rifle, that you could actually hear the puddles of rain on the field when the players were running. So yeah, a lot of rain. The weather wasn't that great, but the big thing in this game, and many of the players that were interviewed after the game, especially the Scottish captain, admitted that Italy adjusted to the weather a lot better than Scotland. Scotland just made way too many mistakes. Their set plays were, I hate to be negative, but the set plays were terrible. It seemed like none of the set plays went their way. So although the weather did play a huge factor in the game, it's just a matter of the Italians adjusting better to the weather, and they came out with a very close win, a huge win for Italy, because I was just reading, a few years back, people were saying, why is Italy in the Six Nations? They should be kicked out and have another team come into the Six Nations. And here they are, improving and beating Scotland and improving over the past couple of years.
Yeah, it reminds me of the Pumas, Argentina. I remember being a young boy when our Springboks played Argentina, and they had a fly half, and he was the only famous guy, Hugo Porta. And he was a brilliant kicker. I mean, he could kick, he was phenomenal. But, just with one kicker, Argentina couldn't do much.
Mhm.
And they would get pummeled all the time, and one would also think, is it worth these guys playing against the All Blacks and the Welsh and the Springboks, and now look at them. And Italy's the same, like you say. They got the wooden spoon every single time. People were guessing by how many points they're going to lose. Now look at them taking on the Scottish and beating them. And what I really enjoyed is 3 of their players playing their 50th Test match for Italy. So them running up, it was good. I mean, they came out, they wanted to win. They're a good team. And it's another one of those that I think, on the day, if you underestimate them and you're not on your best, and you maybe think, just Italy, they can take you out, just like Argentina. And Argentina now, they can any day. They're that good. But Italy's becoming better. And what I really, really enjoyed was watching their coach. And I've coached before, and I'm an absolute nervous wreck. I like to stand behind the posts on the side where my team is going to score, and watch the game, but I'm running and I'm shouting. I'm not at the players, but just, oh my goodness, I get so tense. And he just sat there, and obviously Townsend as well, but different faces. Townsend, you could see, was very worried, and very rightly so, because I'm thinking he's on the chopping block, his job currently at this stage. But just the calm of the Italy coach. And they came out 3 players, 50 games, and they played and did. I mean, they scrummed their line. It was good, it was good Italian rugby, and I'm so happy for them. I'm sad for Scotland that they played that way and that their rugby went to the level that they performed on that day. But man, for Italy, hats off to the Italians and well done. That was great.
Yes, yes, and especially that last push by Scotland. And this game, we're gonna dissect this game actually in our next episode. So everybody, tune into that. We're gonna actually dissect this game a little more, Italy, Scotland. But yeah, not to give too much away, that last push by Scotland, whew, it was something to watch, and I can't imagine if Scotland would have put off the win at the last second. That would have been so devastating for the Italians because they played such a
It
good
would have,
game.
yeah.
But the Italians were able to get the ball back due to a Scotland error on that last push, and once they got the ball back, the referee blew the whistle, game over, and Italy came out with the win. Doing that again, that rain was just wow. It
Yep, it
was
was
coming down.
biblical, as they said.
Yes, yes, I can imagine playing in that weather. You can't see nothing because I mean, even the commentators were saying that they could barely see the players. That's how much rain was coming down. So yeah, not fun weather to play in. And then we have
Yeah.
the final game of round one. Um, I guess I could say I was expecting this. I mean, yeah, I mean, what else can we say? Unfortunately, I mean, how many times have we said Wales is in this bad stretch? Wales national rugby team is in a bad stretch over the past couple of years, and again going up against England, who just had an amazing Autumn Nation series that occurred a couple of months ago. I guess, or I shouldn't say everybody, but I was expecting a game like this where England was going to dominate, and dominate they did, and it's like you say, nothing to take away from Wales, but England, can you really judge what England is when they play like a team against Wales? Not really, but on the other hand, in sports, and I don't know if you heard this term before, right? I mean, you've played sports, so it's quite possible that you've heard this term before. Is you only could play the schedule you're given. You know, because a
Yep.
lot of times you look at a team, oh, they had a weak schedule. Okay, well, I mean that's not their fault. They were only, that's the schedule they were given, so that's the only games they could play.
Yeah.
However, the on the opposite end of that is you have to perform, and England performed the way they were supposed to perform against a weak team. Now, if England would have came out and won like 10-7, then people would be like, oh, ooh, England doesn't look good. But the fact that they dominated, they looked great. Every aspect of the game was great in this. The defense, their offense, their set plays, everything was great, as expected during this game. So they performed the way they were supposed to perform in this game.
Yeah. Not funny, but I felt so sorry for Itoje coming on. They
Oh
rested
yeah,
him. Jamie Joseph was a captain, and then when he went off, Itoje came on as captain. He was on for about 10 seconds. He got a yellow card. He went off. I
yeah.
mean, gee whiz. But talking about yellow cards, Wales just unfortunately,
Hmm.
I think, if I'm correct, I think twice in the game they were down to 13.
Yes.
And you can't do that against a quality side, like England. You can't even, let alone 14 on the field, go down to 13 and think you're going to be competitive. So unfortunately for them, missing tackles, passing the ball behind their player, rugby basic 101 mistakes that they were making. I think they were without their captain, Jack Morgan, as well. So that wasn't
Hmm.
good for them. So unfortunately, another very, very disappointing and tough game for the Welsh, and hopefully they can come right. Hopefully something can be done for them.
Yeah, I laughed too because you mentioned Itoje. And again, if you're new to the rugby or to the podcast, it wasn't necessarily that Itoje did something egregious. And for those, I mean, probably most fans watch the game. If you're a fan of rugby, and if you have the ability to watch the game, you watch the game. But correct me if I'm wrong, Rifle, was that England had committed quite a few infringements, I should say, and the referee had warned England, the next one you commit, I'm going to reward a yellow card. So he warned them. And unfortunately, Itoje was the one that committed the penalty, and he was the one that was sent off the field. So
Yeah.
it wasn't necessarily that he committed something egregious. It was just
No.
he was the next man up to commit a penalty, and he was yellow carded because the referee had warned England. So
And
yeah,
his jersey was still snow white. And he was
yeah.
off. Didn't get a mark on it.
Yeah, and just watching Ichoji's face, he's like, "What?" And then he realized, "Oh, okay, yeah, he warned us." So he just walked off. Yeah, poor Itoji, but he came back in the game.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So good.
so I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say good first round. Other than Wales, disappointing for
Hmm.
Scotland, obviously disappointing for Ireland, but some very nice running rugby. There was some really good moments of top class rugby. Some disappointing things that one would think a player of international status
Hmm.
won't do things like that. So there was a bit of everything in this weekend. It was good. It was a good way to start the Six Nations.
Yes, yes, it was, and I'm looking forward to over the next couple of rounds. Um, and just before we go over these two plays that I have here, so we have round two. We have Ireland playing Italy, Scotland playing England, and Wales playing I should say France. And that Scotland England game is going to be big for the simple fact that if Scotland has a very poor performance, that's another check to Gregor Townsend's lost column, and I don't know. You my again, this is just come from a novice. What do I know? You think if he does have a bad game, he'll get let go after the Six Nations. My feeling, and this is just, I've told you this before, Rifle, this is just from an American mindset, American sports mindset, is that if he has a terrible, if Scotland has a terrible performance against England, I think Gregor Townsend does not survive this Six Nations. Again, that's just me having an American sports culture mindset because as you know, Rifle, it could be mid-season, and if a team starts out horrible, most teams will be like, okay, you're fired mid-season, and that's happened many times in American sports. So we shall see. We shall see. That's going to be a huge game, Scotland, England, in round two.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
So just to go over these two plays here that I have here, let me just make them a little bit bigger. And excuse me, everybody. This is what's called not having a, in the professional sports shows, they have producers and people that actually do this. We cannot pay people to do this for us. So these plays, it's funny because you have a producer. Like, okay, producer, hit that play. We don't have a producer, so we cannot tell people to get statistics and do the plays for us. But here we go. So this is the France Ireland game. This is actually the first score, and if you've watched our previous episodes, huge fan of Luis Biarri. His just style of play. He's so quick. It seems like he's always near the ball, uh, and of course he's a wing, so his job is practically to score, because he's in a wing position. So we have France here, just kicking the ball. Now we have here. You've mentioned this player, Pendergast. He's the fly half for Ireland. So he's gonna kick the ball so that he could get the ball away from the Ireland's try zone. So France gets the ball, passes it to LBB, slips, and then he just runs and scores. So that was the first play. France scored. So yeah, Pendergast out. Okay. I'm safe, but unfortunately, French eventually got it to LBB, and he just ran down the sideline and scored. Although he did trip, somebody did manage to touch him, push him, and trip him. However, again, in American football, that would have been a tackle, and he would have been down at that spot, and the player wouldn't have been able to score. However, in rugby, in order to in tackle, you tackle the player and then you form a ruck. So unless a ruck is formed, the player could get back up and keep running. So that's the difference between rugby and American football. And then the second play I wanted to highlight here, I've become a sucker, so to say, for plays that are or for tries that are scored from kicks. And this is one try that was scored from a kick. So we have Scotland and Italy. Again, this is the first try for Italy here. So we're starting off with a line out. Player gets tackled. And boom. Nice little kick. Italians score. So yeah, so something that we've mentioned before in this episode, I'm say in this podcast is, and you've mentioned this rifle, is that the kicking game has become very prominent in the game of rugby over the past I don't know how long. Would we say a decade, couple decades? And that's because, like we've mentioned before, is because a lot of the rules have been changed over the years in order to encourage scoring. And one of the best ways to score is to kick the ball forward so that you could gain, so that teams potentially could gain territory quite quickly.
Yeah, kicking. I can remember the team, the Blue Bulls, when they played in a Super Rugby and won it. You kicking then already was very, so that's 20 years. So kicking has definitely, and correctly so, as you state, that the laws and the rules changing. Now you have the 50-22, and they're talking now about changing the laws again concerning the high kick. So technically, kicking has become very, very important. You'll see many, many times now, you'll see a fly half, when he gets the ball, won't pass it down the line to the center. He'll just kick it way out to the wing if the wing is open and no one can get there. Which that's a new thing. We didn't do that back in the day when I played or watched, many, many years ago. But now they're that good that they can actually just take the ball and instead of passing it, they just kick it to the wing or maybe the fullback who's way on the other side of the field and no one's watching him for whatever reason. and they kick it, in his hands. So kicking has definitely become very more an integral part of the game. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, and you know, yeah, it is, and it could get, like you say, two top teams playing against each other. It could come down to a kick, whether it's kicking a penalty, whether it's kicking the ball to, if you have the lead, kicking the ball away from your try zone in order to maintain that lead and end the game. So yeah, kicking is important, especially in close games with teams against teams that have very similar talent to you. So yeah. So with that,
Definitely.
everyone, that was I'm sorry.
No, I was saying definitely a big part of the game now, for sure.
Yeah. So with that, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Us just going over round 1 of Six Nations. I'm looking forward to rounds 2 through 4. It's going to be an amazing Six Nations as usual. And not to get ahead of ourselves, that England France game, if everything turns out the way we think it's going to turn out, that France England game, round 5, is going to be a huge game and could potentially, there's a very high chance, could whoever wins that game wins the series. There's a very high chance of that happening.
Very
So
much
with
so, yeah.
that, so with that, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Rifle, thank you as always.
Very
And
welcome.
until next time, everyone, take care.
Cheers, everyone.
Thank you for watching this episode of Rugby with Rifle. Remember to press the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet to support this podcast.